Have you ever felt completely stuck? Like you know that there's more for you, but something keeps holding you back. That's not just hesitation, that's your comfort zone keeping you trapped. Fear, doubt, and overthinking. They're just signs that you're actually on the edge of growth. But here's the truth, clarity alone won't help you move forward. Action does. And when you combine both, that's where absolute transformation happens. In this video, I'll show you exactly what's happening in your head when fear arises and the steps to take to actually move through it. And if this video resonates, please share it with somebody else who needs that little bit of encouragement to help them when the fear arises, to know it's just that they're on the right track. I'll show you exactly what's going on in your head when fear shows up and the habits that will set you free. So let's dive in. To date, I've earned over 7 figures in my business, but it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. I had to come across a lot of fear. And the thing is, fear is always on the journey of growth. You cannot have one without the other. So before I started these videos on YouTube, I was so scared. I was so scared to do a video. I was so scared to figure out how to edit it. I was so scared to post it. I didn't think anybody would want to watch them. And because I've done it continuously now, it doesn't scare me like it used to. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a diagram of what actually happens in your body and in your mind when fear arises, so you can normalize it and actually identify it when it comes up. Then I'm going to give you some very solid, tangible tools that you can apply whenever this happens so you can keep moving forward with clarity and action. So let's get started. For the first year of my business, I tried everything to get around the fear. I had been helping people build businesses for years before I finally took the leap and built my own. And I had no idea the fear that actually arises when we want to grow a business. So the first year of my business, I wanted to prove that it's possible to grow a business without having to go through the fear and discomfort emotionally and mentally of what arises. And do you know what happened? I earned 12K in that first year. And I thought, I live in Southeast Asia, 12K, you can live there, that's fine. But it wasn't exciting. It wasn't thrilling. I did the things I knew how to do because it was safe and it was comfortable. And then 2020 arrived. So a year after I started my business, I found out I was 4 months pregnant. My English partner and I needed to figure out what the hell we could do because neither of us had a visa to each other's countries. We only had the backpacks on our back. We only had bags on our back. That was our life. We were digital nomads, so we had no address, and I was giving birth in 5 months. We had to figure something out really quick. So that's when I really discovered the power of feeling the fear and doing it anyway. So at the end of the second year of my business, I made 180K. So I 15 times my revenue with only 2 hours in the middle of the day when my newborn slept. I went from working 8 to 10 hours, earning 12K in my first year, to working about 2 hours a day in my second year and earning 180K. And it wasn't because I was doing more, obviously, I had less time, but I was doing the things that scared me, because at the other end of fear and scared is growth. So I'm going to help you do that now. Okay, so this is where you are right now, right? So you're probably feeling a bit stuck. You're probably feeling a bit like icky, like you're on the wrong track. You've done everything wrong. What's going on? What's happening? That's just the fear, and I'm here to help you with it. So where you are now and where you want to be, what you want, there is a gap. We're going to talk about that gap. So that gap is called change. That gap is called the comfort zone to the growth zone. And what happens is in this gap of change, in this gap, in order for you to get from where you are to where you want to be, meaning you want to get unstuck, you want to grow your business, you want to grow your revenue, you want to grow your clients, change in this circle has to occur. And what happens in the circle of change is we go from our comfort zone to our fear zone, to our learning zone, to our growth zone. When I first started in that first year of business, I was convinced we go from comfort to growth. I had no idea about the fear and the learning zone until the second year, and I realized, oh my God, you have to feel the fear in order to learn something and grow. They are all complement each other. So what happens is we ebb and flow through these 4 quadrants in life. The majority of us stay fixated in the comfort of our life because it's familiar. Doesn't mean you have a comfortable life or the life that you desire. It just means it's comfortable and it's familiar. The reason we can get stuck here is because biologically our brains are wired to keep us safe. It knows how to keep us safe when we're in a familiar territory because it's predictable. Our brains want to reserve as much energy as possible. And when you're doing something new, you're exerting more energy than normal. Because when you've done something before, it's predictable. It becomes a subconscious habit. And when it's a subconscious habit, we don't use as much energy. But when it's new, we need to exert more energy. So what will happen is when you're like, I want to grow. I want to grow my clients. I want to grow the way I show up. I want to grow my money. I want to just, I want to grow my business. That means what tends to happen is there's a pattern. So you'll be in your comfort zone when you have the desire to do something new. So you're safe, you're comfortable, and you're like, yeah, I want to do something new. This is great. Then in a couple of days' time, the fear is going to happen because you've stepped outside your comfort zone mentally by saying, I want something new. So you're signaling to your brain and your body that you desire something new. So what will happen is a couple of days after, it tends to be within the week, something's going to happen in your life that's going to cause a fearful reaction, that's going to make you believe and think you should not get what you want. So if you said, I want to double my revenue, and a couple of days later something happens and you feel fearful, you'll then attach the fact that you're feeling the fear as to the reason why you shouldn't double your income. But what's happening is somebody who doubles their income is somebody who has the resilience to keep moving forward even when they feel the fear. The people who are successful are the ones who've been able to manage, have been able to regulate their emotions and be able to keep moving forward despite the things they cannot control. So this is an invitation, this change diagram here is an invitation for you to actually just take control of what you can take control of, which is your emotional state. If you'd like the free 22-page guide to help you overcome fear and better understand what's going on so you can conquer it and keep smashing your goals, feel free to download it. It's free and a link is down below. You've got this. When you're in your comfort zone and we're moving to the fear, what fear feels like and looks like is, I call it the chaos. There's chaos in your brain, there's chaos in your body. You're spiraling, you're going, well, what if this doesn't work? But what if this? Oh my God, what if I lose it all? I can't do this. Oh my God. And you start to panic, and then you feel the panic, and then you feel the fear, and then you feel the guilt, and then you feel the sadness, then you feel the anger, and you're spiraling and spiraling and spiraling. There's 3 phases to help you move through the fear. The first phase is recognizing and breaking the cycle. The second is building resilience and taking action. Building resilience basically means you feel the fear and do it anyway. That is resilience. The same as if you go to the gym. If you say to yourself you're going to go on Monday and you don't feel like it, but you do it anyway, you're building discipline and resilience. And 3, achieving mastery and expansion, which is the growth zone. Mastery doesn't mean you're the master at everything. It means you're the master at this. You've done something you never thought you could do before. So what it feels like, the signs that you're actually in your comfort and fear zone is procrastination. It's overthinking. Instead of you doing something really simple to launch, for example, or to sell your offer or to talk to people, you overcomplicate it. You make it harder than it actually has to be. You're always constantly thinking you have to wait for the right time. Again, there's chaos in your brain and there's chaos in your body. But the truth is, fear actually thrives on inaction. So the longer we wait, the harder it is to move. And the reality is when you're stuck, it's because of 2 things. Because you're scared to take the next action, or you don't know where you're trying to go. So if you're stuck currently, this is where clarity and action comes in. If you're feeling stuck, and stuck is like, I don't know where to move, I don't know what to do, and you're just running around in the same circle, not achieving anything, write down what you're trying to achieve. What is your actual goal? Where do you want to go? When you can get clear on that, you're creating clarity on where your goalpost is. So then you know where you're trying to head. Then ask yourself, what is the next micro action? Micro actions are very important here, because as you take a micro action every day, you create a compounding effect that you take action even when you feel the fear. If, for example, you're wanting to do a live, you're wanting to do a talk, and you're so scared, you've never done one before, and you're like, it just feels too big of a jump, what's the next best thing you could do? Could you record a video and then post it, and do that every day? And that is a micro action to give you the confidence to actually start showing up live. What happens? The comfort zone, you're regulated, your emotions are regulated. What's happening is you'll be feeling in the familiar. You feel familiar, things like, yeah, I can do this, like I know the path, I know what happens here. You know what to expect. It's the same outcome, it's the same pattern, it's the same habits on repeat over and over and over again. I remember when I was working in a bank in Australia, and I had been in the same office for 3 years, and I was earning really good money. I really loved what I was doing, but I came to a realization. I was sitting in my office one day, and one of my colleagues came in, and she's like, Caitlin, I have a quote for you. I'm like, yeah, sure. She's like, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And then she left, and I was like, oh, that's quite a profound quote. Then I sat there and I thought, I'm 26. I've been sitting in this office for 6 years. I've been in this company for 7 years. If I look back on the last year, it was exactly the same as this year. And if I look forward to next year, it's going to be the same as this year and the same as last year. Which means, what the hell is my life? What have I done? What have I achieved with my life? I've gotten comfortable very early on in my life and not expanded beyond that. And I didn't want a role above where I was. I didn't want to do anything like that. I didn't want to do anything else within the bank. So I was like, I need to change. I had a quarter life crisis, and I thought, I have to change my life, because this can't just be my life. So that's when I decided. I was so scared to change, but I realized I was in the same pattern, and I'd been living the same pattern at this stage for many years. And I was so scared to change, but I was more scared to stay the same. So I took a career break, and I moved to the other side of the world, and I sold my house and I sold my shares, and years later, this is where we are, and I'm very much outside of my comfort zone. And it was the best decision I ever made. But if you're in that moment and you're scared and you're like, I don't know what it looks like, sometimes that's the point, because where you are now can only see within what you understand in your world. The world you want, the results you want, the life you want is so far beyond where you are now that you can piece it together as you go. So just if where you want to go isn't clear, just get clear on how you want to feel, how do you want to think, how do you want to wake up every day. Just start piecing those bits together. And then before you know it, for me, all I knew is I didn't want to be where I was. So I went to the other side of the world, and now I live in the UK. I have a 4-year-old. I never thought I'd have children. I'm running my business with my partner. We're in a really awesome relationship. Life is great because we're constantly growing and changing. But it was because I took this step to actually do something beyond my comfort zone that created so much growth in all areas of my life. So I want you to know it's normal and you can do this. So now we talk about the fear zone. So what happens in the fear zone is that's where we make excuses. So if you're like, I want to grow my business, but no one's going to buy what I have to offer. I want to grow my business, but I'm not good enough at this. I want to grow my business, but I'll have to wait until next month. That's you making an excuse, because ultimately underneath it you feel the fear. You're not regulated, meaning there's chaos in your body. So you're feeling a heightened sense of stress, of panic. You might be going into fight, flight, or freeze mode. For me, I go into freeze mode. So anytime I want to hide under the covers, anytime I just don't want to be seen, I'm like, oh, interesting, I'm in a fear state. What's going on? And fears are just thoughts and emotions. You're just playing on a story as to what this means to you. And you get to rewrite these stories. Also in the fear zone, you actually don't know what to expect. So what happens is you actually feel quite angry, frustrated, you try and control everything. And this is the perfect moment to actually not control. This is actually the perfect opportunity to go, I don't know what this is going to look like, but I know it's going to be great. And you get to decide that. It feels different. You think differently, and you start to panic a little bit in your thinking because your brain's trying to control. Your brain's trying to grab onto a thought So it can feel in control because it feels out of control because it's in an area it's not been in before, which means it's not in its comfort zone. So you're growing and you're doing the right thing. There's also stress and discomfort, like something feels off. You're uncomfortable. You're like, what the hell is going on? So what's going to be really important for you is there's EFT tapping, which is called Emotional Freedom Technique. Brad Yates on YouTube, he is brilliant. What EFT tapping does is when we're in a state of huge fear and we can't think beyond the realms of fear, we're trapped in this. What EFT does is you tap certain points on your body like this. It sends a signal to the reptilian part of our brain that actually doesn't speak language. That's why we tap these parts of our body. And what it does is it signals to that part of your brain that's having a panic or a fear response to say you're actually safe. Because no matter how much you say to yourself, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe, and you're having a panic attack or you're stressed, you're not going to feel safe. But when you actually do EFT tapping and you start doing things like this and saying, even though I'm feeling scared, and you acknowledge it, it's not about pushing it away, you acknowledge it. I'm actually feeling fear right now. I'm actually feeling really scared. Why am I feeling scared? I'm feeling scared because I think this might fail. Well, what if it fails? Well, if this fails, I'm going to feel really bad. Okay, cool. And what will you do if you fail? Well, then I'll learn how to do it better next time. Okay, so is this really a really bad scenario if it doesn't work? Well, no. Okay, cool. So what action can you take now to move you towards this? So EFT is brilliant. It always helps me calm down. So if you're feeling like a 10 on the stress meter, and EFT is going to get you like to a 7 or a 5, then you can do it again and you'll feel lower and lower. And that regulates you back. And when you're regulated in a state that you haven't been in before, you're teaching your brain and your body that it's safe to go outside your comfort zone. That is the importance of EFT. So the next phase of this is, so going off the diagram we spoke about before with the change, where we've got comfort, fear, now we've got learning. What happens in our learning zone is we've actually taken the action anyway whilst we're feeling the fear. We've acknowledged we're in the fear zone and we're going, cool, I'm feeling the fear and I'm doing an action anyway. We deal with challenges and problems because we've overcome the fear. We've taken the action despite feeling fear. We actually obtain new skills because we've pushed the limitations of what's been possible for us, because we've done something we didn't think we could do. We also feel a bit more excited, and there's so much more energy as well because you've done something you didn't think you could do. It's so cool. You learn to adapt and change. You feel excited to try new things, and honestly, new ideas and opportunities arise because you've expanded what's possible for you. Your comfort zone, as you can literally see by this diagram, has expanded. Where before you could think within the realms of your comfort, then you move to the fear, and even though you were feeling it, you kept moving forward. Moving forward means taking action even when you feel the fear. Then you move to your learning zone. So your realm so the scope of your ideas, the scope of opportunities, the scope of creativity has expanded because you have expanded what's possible for you. And then we move to the beautiful final zone of growth zone. Once you move through all of these, you then set new goals. You then find your purpose. You live your dreams. And by dreams, I don't mean everything's perfect. I mean, you go, I want to double my income, and you achieve it because you've gone through this. And the thing is, this is a pattern and a habit. If you try something to double your income and it doesn't work, you just try something new and keep going. And you know every time you do it, the fear is going to arise, but it's going to actually reduce the amount of time that the fear's in your body. At the start, when I was doing this, the fear in my body was there for months and months. It was debilitating. I was like, what the hell do I do? I'm like, oh. And now, honestly, I feel the fear and I do EFT tapping if I need to. I'll do a bit of a journal out, or I'll go for a walk in nature to calm my nervous system. And it's there for about 10, 15 minutes and then it's gone. So it gets easier and quicker, but the pattern continues. You have to feel fear for growth to happen. They're both on the same, it's interchangeable. You also realize your aspirations because you realize you're better, you can do more than you thought you could. You believe and know you can conquer anything, and you've expanded the world because it seems a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger and a little bit better because you've done something you never thought you could do. To clarify, you are here, your desires are here. Between where you are and where you want to be is a gap of change. And the change includes moving from your comfort zone to your fear zone, to your learning zone, then your growth zone. And what happens with all of this is the one we tend to get stuck on is the fear, because we believe we're doing something wrong because it feels different in our bodies. It has to feel different in your body because you're wanting a different result. So when the fear arises, when you're feeling stuck, some really easy tips for you is EFT tapping to help calm down your nervous system. Journal out what's actually happening. When you journal out, you take it out of your head and you put it in front of you and you can objectively look at it. What happens from there is you can then go, right, what am I actually fearful of? And you want to complete the sentence. Our brains work best when they have a full stop. So if you're going, but what if this happens? But what if this happens? Your brain will think of all the different ways what if could occur. But if you go, if this happens, I'll do this. If this happens, this is what I'll do. And you allow yourself to complete that fear cycle of what you will do. If you're feeling stuck and you're like, I don't know what to do, that's where you want to bring in clarity and action. So the clarity is, what is it you're wanting to achieve, big or small, right now? What is it you want to achieve? And what's the one micro action step you can take? An action step may look like posting a video, going live, sending that pitch, connecting with a client, sending the invoice. That is the action step that aligns with where you're trying to go. Fear loves inaction. Clarity and action will be your best friend when you want to move forward. And just remember that fear is a sign that you're on the edge of something great. So every time fear arises, go, oh my God, I'm growing. This is happening. Everything I'm wanting is here. My desires are here. My goals are here. That's why I'm feeling the fear. So take it as an invitation to keep moving forward. And if you need any additional support or assistance, all of my links are down below. I'm wishing you all the best, the best success you can ever have. I know what it's like to feel the fear and go, oh, what the hell do I do? But I'm here to tell you, we all feel the fear. It's here. It's always going to be here when you want to grow. That's how you know you're growing, because you're feeling the fear. So do the activities I've shown you, and I've also got a free 22-page guide to help you conquer the fear yourself. There's 6 different activities that you can apply to help shift your mindset in those moments you don't know what to do. And if you'd like a copy, it's free. You can download it by the link below. And I'm here to celebrate you and support you every single step of the way. You have got this. And I will see you in the next video.